or what?
All right, we will call the meeting of the Irvington Architecture Review Board for the month of January 2024 to order. We have no continuations or revisions or informal or anything other than new matters tonight, so we will start with the new matters, and the first matter is ARB 2024-01, 49 Ardsley Avenue West fence.
Hello there.
Hi there.
What are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay. You have the ability to bring up your application.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah, sure.
Let me send it. Hold on.
I'll bring it up.
Do you have it?
No, you have it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had it on
A thumb drive.
I had
Do
it
you
on a
guys
thumb
have-
drive,
We
and
didn't realize that we
I
had to
printed
bring
it out
but
and all
do you
sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
We're
we
also-
sent in a printed copy, but we could find it. You could find it again.
I have it on my computer, which is sorry, I'm just not
Or we
good.
could answer anything about it,
I could pull it up. I just need 2 minutes, or we could answer anything. We're just
whatever's best for you.
I can share the presentation. I'm just curious, did you have somebody else with you to present? Because there's somebody named Matt with their hand raised, or is
yes,
that-
that's the fence contractor.
Oh, okay. So I will let them in.
Thank you.
Hi, Matt.
Muted.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So basically the plan is to, oh no, okay, you guys go ahead.
You ready, sir? You go, okay?
Yeah, they can make a presentation. I'm just trying to see. Okay, you can make your presentation.
You can start your presentation.
Yep, so the plan is to just put a fence on the property line, just on where our property line is. We wanted to put up a privacy fence. There's a lot of
Basically, it's directly
traffic by us.
next to the driveway into the Nevis Labs.
Mhm.
So we have a 2-year-old, and she's running around, and there's people whose dogs are walking, and they're kind of like it's just like it's
need a
very
fence.
cool, and we love the location, but it's like a little chaotic. There's like FedEx trucks driving all over the place, and cars, and we can see a parking lot from the backyard, which is fine, but it's like the privacy fence solves all of that, and it's that's kind of where we're coming from.
And Matt, I wonder if you want to add a little bit about what the fence looks like, and like how it's structured.
Yeah, we got the note from you guys on Thursday that, historically PVC privacy fences have not been approved, but, that may very well be the case. But like, when I think of a PVC privacy fence, I think of that sort of shiny white plastic, which we intentionally wanted to avoid because we're not fond of how it looks. We think it looks kind of cheapy and crappy, and we're not, really into that. And we found this amazing material when we visited Matt's office in Nyack, and it's this really sort of beautiful wood grain, and it looks pretty classy for, being PVC, and it feels chameleonic in that sense.
Yeah, so basically the fence is a 6-foot privacy fence. And I don't know how well you can see this color here, but basically it's a brown color. It's the PVC today is designed to mimic wood, so there's a lot of color options. And this one in particular is called cedar grain, and it really very well does mimic a cedar board. So, it's a nice subtle color, blends in with the background, and is not, stark like some of the, as Phil mentioned, the white vinyl fences that you often see are a little bit stark, but this one's much more subtle, as wood would be. It's a warmer, feel overall.
Okay. Comments from the board?
I mean, I have to say that I'm sort of opposed to any fence in this location. The Columbia Field is a sensitive point in the neighborhood. Everybody in Ardsley Park enjoys sort of this open, green, lush, bucolic view of the Columbia Field. And so I think there's a lot of pushback in the neighborhood about anything that will kind of chop up that space, especially as you walk on the aqueduct and kind of enjoy the view in the neighborhood. And I think historically, people in the Ardsley Park neighborhood have had a very difficult time getting any kind of fence approved.
The one comment I might make about where the fence is going to be located is on the side of the property that is on like the side of the driveway, as Phil mentioned, all that. There's actually a pretty good separation of mature trees and very mature brush. I mean, to the point where it could be 15 feet deep of that kind of stuff, where there's already a natural privacy. So probably
why-
two-thirds or more of the fence will be blocked by that from anybody's view on that side,
So then-
the way
So
it
then
stands
why is
now.
a fence needed?
Oh, it's really because, we've got kids and we plan to get a dog and we just don't want, we don't want like our kid running into the Columbia driveway.
Like the other day, there was a dog that was like playing on our
Yeah, there's
barbecue in our
like dogs
backyard.
running into our backyard. We do want to put up a fence and we'd love to work with you guys on whatever kind is, the best, gives the best view and kind of is the most agreeable option, but we do want a way to kind of close in the backyard.
And particularly, in a perfect world, because there is that sort of like, you're talking about the Columbia Field, which I agree is very beautiful and
Yeah.
bucolic and beautiful, but like what's directly next to our backyard is a road. And it's like, box vans driving all day long and people driving to the Nevis parking lot. It's not this big bucolic,
And the Nevis Labs is it's open, like it has that whatever the thing that you can view the stars with. And so there's people driving like at night and during the day. It's not just, during work hours.
telescope.
A telescope.
You considered a metal fence with more vegetation?
We're
Kind of like what's
The truth is we prefer a privacy fence, but we're open if it's like no fence or metal fence, we are totally open.
We
to a
we
fence.
prefer
Yeah.
privacy nets just because, I understand what you guys are getting at with our, but like, we have a neighbor on one side and we have Nevis on one side, but like in the backyard, there are other houses that do have fences. And,
Yeah.
when we initially spoke to the building department, we're like, is there any sort of restriction on types of materials or height of materials or any sort of thing like that? They're like, no, not really. And that's kind of sort of dictated the way we've gone about this. Obviously, we're talking to you guys who are the authority on it, but like, it's just like sort of the way that we envisioned our life here because it's so exposed to Nevis. Like the idea that not only might we not be able to get a privacy fence, but the fact that we might not be able to get any fence is like kind of it's throwing us for a loop. I'm going to be completely straightforward with you guys, but like that's kind of where we're at this point in time.
Well, we have had issues in the recent past similar to yours, and we've always been able to come to an agreement with a black or green aluminum fence with, when I say aluminum, posted fence, and that we were also able to work evergreens, sporadic evergreens in front to also keep, and that be your actual privacy part of the fence.
It
So
can't
is
just be a solid wall of evergreens, so.
It can't. I'm just
Well,
yeah.
If you walk around the neighborhood and actually look at what some of the neighbors have done, there are some very good examples. For instance, 2 Hancock, directly across the street from you guys. They have not just a solid wall of evergreens, but evergreens that are sort of spaced out with some other kinds of plantings.
I
And
guess
then
my
they
que-
have
sorry, go for
powder
it.
coated black aluminum fence that's sort of meant to evoke the historical wrought iron fences that were common in the neighborhood. Or
So
if you walk
because-
down to if you walk down to 63 Ardsley Avenue West, or maybe it's 61, Kevin and Sarah Soonholtz's house, they also have the black powder coated aluminum. And then they have sort of spaced out evergreens and butterfly bushes and a third type of planting. So it's sort of, it's not just a wall of evergreens, it's sort of planted to, look in keeping with the rest of the neighborhood. And in keeping with the character of Ardsley Park.
Yeah, there are also, we know those, properties. There are also properties in the area that do have, like, even from our backyard, we could see like 2 of our kind of backyard neighbors. I think they're on the cul-de-sac, have like full, just wood fences.
Yeah, does wood make you guys feel a little
Yeah.
better as opposed to
about
people?
wood?
We're completely happy to get a wood fence if that feels a little better to you.
Well, I mean, we did have an issue where right on Broadway in your neighborhood, we allowed a wood fence along Broadway, and the fence you're looking at, in other areas where you really couldn't see it in the back and on the east side of it. So there's history of doing that, but at this point, I'm sensing that a solid privacy fence isn't going to fly in this particular location. I could be wrong, but I think if we put it to a vote, it would be a binding vote. Have you given thought to any other like what we've discussed earlier?
We have, and I guess what we keep coming back to is like, any sort of like what we are trying to accomplish with the fence is privacy. So if you're kind of North Star with this policy is like, we don't want you to have privacy. We want everyone to see everything, or we want, even if you did put an aluminum powder coated fence and you did put evergreens, you can't put too many evergreens because we don't want you to have too much privacy. So I'm just trying to get a sense from you guys, like, is there any version of anything that we can have privacy? It seems like maybe the answer is no, but I wish it wasn't, because that's really all we wanted.
I think if you walk past 2 Hancock or 61 Ardsley Avenue West, you cannot see into those backyards from the street. They have privacy.
Yeah, the one across from us with the aluminum with the plantings, you can see into the yard. It's both, you could see into the yard and you could see the trees. But it's not like it's not privacy in the same way that a privacy fence is, where no one can see through, because we're in a really public area.
We also have like a ton of windows on this wall behind us. So like anyone walking their dog, anyone driving through Nevis, like they're just looking at us right now. Like basically the view in this window next to me is just,
Nevis.
there could be a guy standing there like, Googling me all night long.
It feels pretty open just because of where we are and because we're right next to the road.
Well, plus the back line and on the eastern side, the last third of the side along the road, and then the back side, that all butts up to a parking lot, actually. So the only people not benefiting from the view are just people who are parking for the lab. And then again, the privacy that they're looking for along the road is certainly understandable, because again, this time of year, at 5, 6 o'clock, you got headlights coming in your house at dinner time and that kind of thing, which is a reality. I mean, they're literally right on that road. So a little privacy, especially along that right side.
Not right on Broadway. You're on Ardsley Avenue West, which is a
No,
beautiful.
we're talking about the driveway for the lab.
The road to the lab.
And again, there's a parking lot back there. So it's, there's 100 parking spots. So it's not like there's a few cars going back there. The main
I
parking.
live right there, and I hardly ever see cars driving down that driveway. I run every day. I walk the stroller on that driveway every day. I hardly ever see cars. So I'm not familiar with this heavy traffic problem.
It's even the case that like from our bathroom, you're looking out, like you just see the parking lot, you see the cars, you see the people walking, like
Yeah.
it does feel like a little bit much in terms of the sort of, you know, eyeballs and headlights and, you know, like we don't have any problem with the front, like, you know, we're not trying to fence in the front, we're just trying to like where the
We're just
and
trying to have a
we're
backyard
just
that
trying to
doesn't
have-
feel
yeah.
like it's right against
a road where, like
road.
I'm saying, like multiple times a day, there's like FedEx deliveries, there's Amazon deliveries, there's big trucks,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, it feels like a lot on our end.
But you guys did know the location of the house when you bought the house.
Yeah, but when we asked, when we had asked before we bought the house and our realtor like went pretty deep into it, I think with the building department, and they said that there's no limits on the types of fabrics that you could use, that only 25 feet from the aqueduct, there would be an issue.
Right, and
that
I
we're-
measured, I took my
We
tape measure, I
made
made
sure
sure
we
it was
weren't
fine.
25 feet from the aqueduct, so we actually didn't realize that there would be any issue putting up a fence until this meeting.
Thank you. Jay?
For me, it's the most public side is along the aqueducts, and that's where I would like to see more of the powder coated type fence with more vegetation to shield it. What happens on the other sides where nobody can view is, you know, between you and your neighbor, I'm not sure that we can prevent the type of fence going there.
Okay, so if we got aluminum on along the road and we did privacy for the back, so we didn't see the parking lot. And the parking lot couldn't see us, you know, and privacy along the side with our neighbors.
So you're
or-
talking about the privacy on the neighbor side and privacy on the sort of like back part with the parking lot and aluminum on the
On the road.
on the
which
road
is
side.
sort of
Is
the
that what you're
busiest side of
referring
it.
to?
Yeah.
Can you bring up the map?
No.
Because isn't it like a triangle? So I'm not clear on what you mean
Sure,
by
yeah, yeah,
that.
you can
we
take a look at
can
the
show you.
survey.
Do you see all the way in the back, there's like 25 feet? It's almost like triangle, but you know, all the way in the back here where it says 29.08.
Mhm.
That's where the parking lot is. So if we put up, you know, if we put up a privacy fence along the back and then along, you know, in between us and our neighbors, but then did aluminum on the kind of diagonal part of this triangle where it says
It's like you're saying,
352.62.
you know, dense vegetation in lieu of something that
Yeah.
is more privacy.
Why do you need a privacy fence to separate you from the neighbors?
I think
And
we're
it's
just
not
looking,
about needing, we're just trying to have a little, it's not, we ideally we'd have a full privacy fence. Does it make it, I mean, does it make a difference or?
I don't know. I have a chain link fence along the back of my property separating me from my immediate next door neighbor, and I quite enjoy seeing my neighbor and
I think we're very
chatting.
happy to see them, you know, in the front yard and on the street and in the
Yeah,
community. I
thank
think
you
we're
to
just
our
trying to have a
neighbors.
little bit of privacy in our
And
sort of space.
And we've talked to our neighbors about this too. I mean, they, you know, it's not like, we're not trying to like not be neighborly here. We're just trying to have
Have our space, you
some
know,
space, yeah.
good fences make good neighbors.
Mhm.
The answer. So where are we now? The neighbor is on the left.
Yes.
That would be the bulk of the fence would be solid. Are there gates on these fences?
So
Mhm.
the dotted lines that you could see at the front on the left side and on the front on the right side would be gates into the backyard from the ungated, the ungated part, essentially. Would it be more meaningful to you
We
if
could
there
put
were,
another
or we'll
fence,
put
yeah, we
whatever
could
you
put
guys
another
want.
gate.
You guys
We're
are the,
really happy to be flexible. We're not trying to like steamroll anything. We're not trying to do anything that's not within the character of the neighborhood. We really want to come in and be part of this community and, you know, do it in a way that works for everybody.
it just, you know, for us.
in a
it
way that
just
works for
feels
us
very
too, you
open,
know?
and we're just
Yeah.
trying to have it feel a little more
Yeah,
sort of.
So if there is an issue with doors, we'll put in more.
We'll
you
put
know,
in
we'll
as many
more-
doors as you guys
yeah.
want.
It's not that at all. I just, as a matter of fact, I wanted to know if what I'm looking at are two gates, that's it.
Yeah.
This is difficult for us because directly across the street from you. we had many meetings where with the two, what's the?
To Hancock.
Through Hancock. That became contentious, but in fact, we stood our ground and insisted on the black powder coat fence with some plantings, and I just don't know how I can justify this right across the street.
The other issue is putting in a full privacy fence or even a large section of privacy fence to separate you from your neighbors. I think it sets a dangerous precedent where then suddenly the Architectural Review Board is beholden to allowing everyone to put up solid privacy fences throughout Ardsley Park, which just destroys the character of Ardsley Park. I mean, park is in the actual name of the community. It's been in existence since the late 1800s. Many homes date back to the late 1800s or early 1900s. It's meant to be an open, soft, green, bucolic landscape. It's not meant to be chopped up into a million different tiny backyards, all fenced in with PVC privacy fencing. That's not the
Make wood if that's
character.
better.
Mhm.
So if we allow this privacy fence, then we have to allow the next 100 fence applications too.
I just feel a little frustrated because I feel, not with you guys, but when we
We
really
asked a
looked
lot
into
about
this
this,
so
yeah.
hard, like
We
this
asked a
summer,
lot
we
of
went to the,
people.
the building department so many times. We're like,
Yeah.
is there any restriction on material, on height, on location? And they're like,
No.
not really, don't do anything weird or,
Just so you know, there are restrictions on height.
No, I know. They said, don't do anything above 6 feet. You should be fine,
Yeah.
which is great. We didn't,
Architectural Review Board is tasked with ensuring that the character of the neighborhood does not get altered. So that is the issue here. I think we need to be very careful that we're not altering the character of the neighborhood.
I understand what you're saying. It's just, I totally get what you're saying. It's just like hard to imagine basically like, there's so much activity on this road that we're like,
I know
cannot wait for the
that like
festival,
for the
like-
folks who walk on it, it seems like less because if you're there for like an hour or two, but like
or
we're
even
here
just
all,
walking through, yeah,
we're here all day.
sitting
and
at this
we could,
table,
like, we
working,
could
eating,
count-
it's-
we could count, if it's like worthwhile for us to spend some time like just tallying, but there really are.
a
There's
lot of
big
stuff going on
There's
there.
trucks, there's deliveries, there's cars in and out. It's not like a quiet road. It's not the aqueduct. It's a road that leads to this big parking lot that leads to this institution. So it's not very quiet. I know that it can seem that way when, if you're
Is
just.
the road only at the north side?
The road is all along on the right side where it says 352.62. That's just the road into Nevis, and in the back where it says 29.08,
It's the
that's
parking
the
lot.
parking lot.
The neighborhoods.
Yes. And
Oh,
there
and
are,
yeah.
I've walked property and I walk the neighborhood all day, every day. And there are a lot of evergreen trees and brush and whatever, like Matt was saying, there's a lot of privacy already on the right-hand side bordering that driveway.
The Nevis side? No, there's like huge gaps and
There's a
like,
lot of gaps.
there's
and-
like big,
I
big,
mean,
big
we could
gaps.
do like some real plans.
If we have to, I mean, that's what we could
Yeah.
do, but like, it's definitely not sort of complete private line of,
I mean, would you consider just sort of filling in the gaps with some more evergreens to give yourselves that privacy
Well,
from
it's
the
also,
road?
it's also a matter of, keeping our people in and keeping
we
other
would need a
people out.
fence.
We
Yeah,
need
yeah,
a
we
fence.
need a
Yeah, what
fence.
we're talking about here is like, there needs to be a fence, just because like I said, there was like a dog jumping on
Yeah.
a barbecue and we have a 2-year-old who can't get run over by a FedEx truck by walking
We
into
really do.
it's like
need
a safety.
What about like a 4-foot high powder coated aluminum with then like taller evergreen trees to fill in the gaps?
The other aluminum fences that we've seen in the neighborhood are 6 feet. Is that something that we could do? Does it have to be 4 feet?
I do want to just point out also a little bit of deer protection, which is a big problem in the in the area too. So 4 foot doesn't really offer any deer protection. So
Yeah,
usually
the
we,
deer here are
we,
very
we
excited.
discuss usually going a little bit taller just for that reason alone.
Right. And what about, I mean, if we made the right side, the black wrought iron looking aluminum fence
Mhm.
at 6 foot, and then and the north side as well, but then what do we do on the left side? Opposite the neighbor.
Are you asking us
I
or?
think-
Oh,
I think
sorry,
the
go
whole thing has to be powder coated aluminum, just like the ARB made the neighbors at 2 Hancock and the neighbors at 63 Ardsley do.
But 2 Hancock was all public facing.
Yeah, this is facing the
Against
parking
the
lot and
aqueduct.
our neighbors.
But
It's not solid.
it's
No.
not solid
No,
on
it's,
the aqueduct.
no, it's the same, it's different.
It's,
with a deer
it's like
fence
an
included.
uglier
Oh,
chain link, but it's still see-through.
Would you be amenable to making the whole fence, the aluminum, black aluminum? And then fill in with the evergreens in the areas that need it?
Is there
Especially
any
on-
world where the two big sides could be aluminum and because
Could we put privacy fence in the back?
where the
like
parking lot is? No one
lot
could argue
is?
that the view of
Yeah.
a parking lot is like, contributing to the neighborhood benefit. It's like it's just a big fat parking lot. Like there's not a lot of redeeming qualities. It's just a big parking lot with a lot of parking spots and a lot of cars. It's a parking lot.
That parking lot that far away from the house is a problem.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Seems-
like I said,
We'll
like
just see it, yeah.
we could see it. We could
Yeah.
see it from the backyard. We could see it from our bathroom. We could see it from like many points of the house. And because it's, it's not like a backyard that's full of trees in the middle of it. It's kind of just like a clear shot. So it's like kind of the main thing that you see.
Yeah.
And it's also the slope of the backyard. That's another reason you kind of just see the parking lot in more than you.
And actually
ordinarily-
our neighbors too, when we were talking about this fence, they mentioned also like they had been planting some stuff, but you could still see the parking lot. And they were like, oh, maybe if you put something in there, well, like. I
the
think
neighbor
that
was
it's
talking about
just-
all the different trees.
No
he
one really
tried to-
wants to see it.
Yeah, all the different trees he
Yeah.
tried to plant to not look at it. And then, he's like, honestly, probably just putting a fence there is the most effective thing. So
I don't have a problem with that little piece being solid, because I just don't think you could see it, but I don't walk there, I'd walk on the aqueduct.
I would maybe make the solid piece, the 25 feet of solid piece towards the back parking lot area. I would maybe make that, if you walk down and look at 63 Ardsley Avenue West, Kevin and Sarah Soonholtz, they have it's like a charcoal gray solid wood that kind of goes with the powder coated aluminum. I
Is
think
there-
it would look jarring if you have 2 long strips of powder coated aluminum and then like a solid block of brown.
is there any world where we could mimic the solid wood that they have at 63 Arts? Like it sounds like a wood fence has been approved historically at 63.
Yeah, I mean, some of our neighbors in the back do have.
Yeah, and we're happy to
solid wood
provide
fences.
photographic like
Yeah.
evidence of such a thing. It's just like there are solid fences that I've seen in the neighborhood. So I feel like
Do we know how old they are?
No.
If they weren't approved from this body of,
And the
Think about
issue really is the proximity that you guys have to the Columbia field. It's really been a sore spot in the past in the neighborhood when even Columbia, who owns that giant field, when Columbia has tried to do stuff with that giant field.
no, I
it's
heard with the
gotten
solar panels and
blocked
everything. We heard all about this.
Yeah, it's gotten blocked by the neighborhood because even though it is not officially parkland and it does not officially belong to the neighborhood, people kind of treat it like it is public parkland.
Well,
But
where would this fence block somebody's view of that field?
Well,
Like
for
whose
instance-
view is getting blocked by this fence?
The neighbors to the left.
But wasn't the point that you were just making was that there was ample vegetation already that would provide the privacy that you thought was sufficient? Like you were just saying before that you're like, there's enough trees and evergreens there already that provide privacy. So is there enough privacy from the evergreens or it's viewable from the neighbors?
But there's a difference between viewing evergreens and beautiful plantings and viewing a solid brown fence.
But it's I guess I was just trying to figure out if they could see if they could see
Trees,
the field or
trees are
not.
beautiful to look at and in keeping with the character of the neighborhood and also provide privacy.
Well, if the one neighbor didn't have a problem with the fence, would they be okay then? Because there's really only one neighbor who could possibly be affected.
It's not just one neighbor because the whole neighborhood walks around that area on the Aqueduct Trail. So the right-hand side of the pink line there,
But
is
anyone
viewable.
walking on the aqueduct is not, their view of the field is not
Their
affected.
view of the field's not inhibited. Their view of these guys' yard is inhibited, but not the field.
Not following that.
Well, my
It-
point being is that if you're walking down the
It's
aqueduct trail and you look to the left, you're
Yeah.
looking at Phil's yard. If you look to
Okay,
the
but if
right,
you-
you're looking at the field.
If you're standing in the Columbia Field or on the Aqueduct Trail currently, on the right-hand side of that picture that we're all looking at, you have an open green view of the whole neighborhood.
But you
Now,
do because the
I'm
neighbors in
not
our
saying I can
backyard-
see the bathroom window, Phil, but I can see beautiful green trees and a variety of different plantings and green grass. And if you put up a solid wood fence there, it's not going to be a wide open green view anymore. And if we set a precedent where we approve a solid wood fence for you guys, and then our hands are tied and we have to approve solid wood fences for the next 10, 20, 100 people that apply for them, then suddenly the whole green neighborhood has been chopped up by wood privacy fences.
So let's go back to what we just recently discussed, having the aluminum powder coated fence on the left and the right, and then just a matching in color solid fence on the top.
Okay.
I understand why it feels like for you guys a super, convenient workaround. I'm just like, if there's any conceivable like outside the box solution to like the privacy that we just really so want, like there's just so much stuff going on that like the aluminum fence is just going to completely not affect in any way, shape, or form. Yes, we can add more vegetation, but more vegetation is not privacy. It's just like, oh, I can see you a little less than I could before. I understand what you're saying about the precedent. I'm just trying to like
Yeah,
think
maybe if
outside the
it's
box.
like, along a road.
I would
it's
encourage you to walk around the neighborhood and look at some of the other properties that have the aluminum fences and the evergreen plantings.
What's that?
To Ardsley Avenue.
To Ardsley Avenue.
Igor and
We
Beata.
had the same conversation with them, and they did finally settle on a black fence with bushes and trees to guide it.
Still going.
I don't know, I mean, you know how we feel, so if you want to step back and work with your fence guy and try to come up with a different plan, we'd be happy to hear you next month.
Mm.
Sound like you're putting that fence-
So how would this work hypothetically? Like we sort of, Tal and I and Matt sort of talk offline, come up, like, would we kind of need to tell you yes, like right this second? Do we send you an email? Do we send them, like, what do we
Yeah,
do?
what's the process?
Just because we need to also like, put together a proposal of what this would look like on our end, because we haven't, it's a very specific mix and match kind of thing.
Something in by next month.
Can you say that one more time? I'm
You're
sorry.
saying next month.
Sarah's checking the schedule with when your next
February 5th.
February 5th, we'd have to know what your,
Could we tell you now instead of February 5th, or we
No, I
can't do
think we
anything?
have to do this whole thing
We have to
again.
do this whole thing again?
Is
Is
that
that
right?
accurate?
well, it's not that you have to, but you may not like the result if we make a decision now. That's
So
the
what we're
thing.
doing is we're coming to you next month with the proposal for the aluminum fence on the two sides and the privacy in the back. Is that accurate?
That's where I would start.
I understand. Matt, there's not like some, insane fence material that they just invented that is both translucent and a privacy fence, right? I'm just
Well,
checking.
I mean, I guess, I'd like to say, let me certainly think about it, and put some thought to it. There's any fence that's out there, we can either build it or paint it and get it for you. So, and I guess maybe I'd like to just think a little bit more about the situation there, because I do think you guys have a little bit of a unique situation with, having that lab next to you and that road next to you. But again, whatever you guys want to do, I'm happy to work, at any schedule you guys want to do.
All right, great. So we'll come back to you all.
Sorry, we will see you or hear from you by the 5th, and then just like we did this month, we can take a look at it during the month and then shoot you off some comments. And then this way, next month for the meeting, we'll be able to make a decision, pretty quickly.
All right.
All right?
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to ARB 2024-02, 15 North Broadway, St. Barnabas Church, solar panels.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thanks. My name is Doug Hertz from Sunrise Solar Solutions, representing the applicant. So I will share my screen if that's allowed, and we'll go from there. So I will start with a couple of different views. I'm going to start with just orienting us. So this is just Google Maps. If you can see my cursor, this is the specific area of the church we're looking at on this building, and I'll get into it a little bit deeper if I pull out. We've also installed the solar system right next door on the Presbyterian church that's been there for, I want to say about 4 or 5 years now. That system is on slope roofs on both sides of it, on the east and west side. Here we're primarily on these flat roofs, and there's a little bit of a slope roof tucked in here that we think is functionally invisible from sort of anywhere. Let me switch my share and we'll go to the next images. Okay, so this is the plan set for the system, and this will sort of show you the site map. So for that building, which we were looking at, you see a couple different views. This is what we're looking at. These areas here with a lighter gray with a red outline, this is a flat roof area. And you have these two sections of roof that are slope roof. So what we've chosen to do, the flat roof system, we don't believe you can see it's above grade. The system sits just a few inches above the edge of the rooftop. Functionally, this is what a side view of this looks like. The height here doesn't go above 11 inches. So the system sits extremely low to the roof. It's not elevated at all. So we don't think you're going to see the flat roof system. So the only system the only sections that you possibly could see would be this area here. And I'll just blow that up, which we've given you in the photo package, which I'll get to in a moment, are these sections here. And for this, we've chosen an architectural black on black module, much more what you see typically for residential systems.
Even those, I don't think you can see from Broadway.
I don't think you're going to see it from anywhere but the sky, quite frankly. But just for the aesthetics of the church membership and just walking around within the property, it makes more sense for us.
And none of the panels are going on like the Gothic building, right? They're going on like the newer addition in the back.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. We're only, this is the only area where you're gonna, where we're gonna put panels. So the
Like
older,
the
older,
Whatever,
Yeah.
behind the Gothic church.
correct,
The last,
correct.
not on behind the church itself was also not on the Gothic.
Yeah,
It was on different
Yeah,
part.
that is correct. And then I'll just share with you the packet, the photo packet that we, sorry for switching all these images. So this is the photo packet that we had shared, as well as the production that we had shared with your board. So you can sort of see what the surrounding area is if you look at the various photos. We've given you a couple of renditions from different angles. This bird's eye view up here is kind of from a point. The Broadway is sort of up in this corner, if you will, lateral, sort of parallel to the peak of the roof, if you will, and up here. So this is a back roof. This is a side roof. It's pretty heavily treed. As you can see over here, pretty hard to. We think you're really not going to see it at all, but we're just trying to be clear about what's happening. This is obviously next door, and then et cetera, et cetera. You guys know the area well. This is sort of a sense of what we think is going to, another sort of bird's eye potential view, well up in the sky, down here, and then just some other views of, what we can see from the property and surrounding areas. I'll just share you one other. If you're interested, I can show you pictures of sort of what that flat roof system looks like, if that would be useful to you. But again, I don't think that's visible at all. So you know what? I'll keep sharing. Let me just switch that last view. Show you the things I have.
Well, I appreciate that all the panels are not within view. I think it was a good design.
yeah,
I'm good.
I'm fine with it. I like what you've done. And I think it's good for the church's financials, so.
Yes,
All right,
we appreciate that.
I'll ask if there's any more questions from the board before I open up the public.
No.
No,
Okay. Okay, I make a motion to approve opening a public forum for anybody other than people at this meeting in this room to make comments on. Do I have any hands being raised there?
No.
And no,
There were no
nobody in the chat?
comments in the chat.
Nobody in the chat, nobody raising their hands. Okay, I will then make a motion to approve the one question first before I do that. I had asked during the month whether you had anything on your drawings that showed that on the pitched roofs, the section from the roof to the top of the panel, somewhere showing that it does not exceed 6 inches. I didn't see it on any of the
Sorry, from the surface of the
on the
from
pitched
roof
now.
surface to, yes. I don't think there's a measured distance on there, but we never get above 6 inches.
Then I will make a motion to a modified motion to approve that the cells on the pitched roofs not go above 6 inches from the roof surface. Do I have a second?
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Okay, we're good to go.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Right on. Okay. Moving to ARB 24-03, 19 South Ecker Street. Exterior elevation change. I should have closed the public. Any more questions?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hi, my name is Stephen Costa. I'm the engineer for Mr. Ikovich, who I believe is on also. And this project involves two things. Number one is a rebuilding of the garage that's located in the rear of the property. And basically, it's a concrete block wall stuccoed on all four sides that's going to be replaced in kind, and new stucco applied and with new colors and new garage doors. The roof framing is going to stay as existing. We are just going to put new charcoal architectural shingles on the roof. The new stucco is going to be Shaker gray, and all the trim on the garages, basically the doors, are going to be white. So that's one aspect of this job. Before moving forward, is there any questions regarding the garage?
Is the garage is the current porch slab?
Yes.
Okay, and you're pouring a new slab and new walls.
Well, basically, all three sides really of the garage block walls have been cracked and the floor is cracked, so it's being replaced in kind. We're not making it any bigger. We're not making it any taller. It's just being replaced, new block, new stucco. Like I said, new asphalt roof, which is going to remain. And that's basically it for the garage.
Okay. No windows, nothing, just.
There's no windows, only the two front doors, which are existing. Okay. So that is the aspect of the garage.
Okay. No lights or anything?
Not on the garage, no.
Okay.
The second aspect of this project is there is an existing enclosed front porch, which you can see right here, which is texture 111. And my client is proposing to remove the front porch, redo the stairs, and put in an open front porch with a railing and columns, as you can see there. And again, he's going to paint the whole structure Shaker gray with white trim. The eave on the top is going to remain the same. Just repair it if it needs to be repaired as far as any rotting, but the style and the shape of it is all going to remain the same. And we're putting in new front doors and new windows to match the existing windows of the house. There's really no changes to the exterior other than painting on the right and the rear. And on the, on the left and the rear. And there are two window changes right here. They're putting in two little small awning windows in the small alleyway, which is a couple of feet wide. And those windows are really not visible from the street at all.
So you're changing, you're replacing the windows or existing or?
All the existing windows are being replaced in kind, the 1/1, that's the original window, and two window changes on the right side.
Okay.
Can you speak to the second porch up above that doesn't exist at the moment?
Right now, again, it's a flat roof, and just keeping in character in some of the buildings around the surrounding neighborhood, they have railings on top of the roof. My client thinks that it looks a lot better with the railing than without.
I actually haven't seen one with railing that didn't have a door. So if it's not a functional deck, then it just seems like extraneous adornment in front.
Steve, would you like to respond to that?
I could put a door if it makes sense. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I
we
just,
can
I
hear-
just, I just question why it's there, that's all.
If- if this-
I think it looks very pretty. I've seen a couple of other projects, just recently done in the neighborhood. And, I think it's a really nice touch for, this home. It makes it look a little bit more grand. And,
I think from the outside, you're right. It's just, it seems impractical if there's no way to get onto it.
if you would, prefer a door, I would too. I think it makes sense myself.
I don't have an opinion one way or the other, other than every picture you sent that had that railing up there had a door, so it's functional.
I
So-
just thought it was a simpler way to get what I would like to see. Changing and putting a door, I thought that would be possibly rejected. So I prefer the door if you guys do.
We have another angle, like an east or west, to see whether that is even enough room to be worth it.
You mean on the side? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
All right, so it is the same. That answered that question.
It's in the order of 6 feet wide.
Steve, are you thinking more about putting a door than now that it makes sense?
If it makes sense to you, I think it makes a lot more sense to me too, and I agree.
Okay, did we want to just replace a window with a door? Or do we have the height?
No, we replaced the window with a door, and I would probably say the door facing the front on the left.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense.
Put it above the other door.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good with that.
Thank you.
Would that be considered the second floor or third floor?
Second floor.
Okay. What else do we got?
That's it.
Can you talk us through the changes to the doors and windows? Like, we see more kind of lines and details on the new windows and doors. Can you just walk us through exactly what's changing with the windows and doors? It looks very pretty from the drawing. I'm just having a hard time understanding exactly what's changing.
Normally, we would have a door, a door and window schedule on the drawings, but in light of the fact that we don't, that's why we're asking the question to get a little more feel of what the windows are going to be.
Sure. Again, they're just double hung 1/1 with a 4-inch trim that's existing. You have a 4-inch wide trim that's existing on the house. These are new front entry doors. This is, since it's on ground level, we're just going to have 2 upper lights. This is going to be basically a half glass door, your front entry door to the dwelling. Over 2 panel. And those are both thermal true doors.
Steve, are you gonna need a light at the door on the second floor now?
Technically, no, because it's not an entrance or exit, but we probably will put the same style light that's on the first floor,
Okay,
right here.
yep. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
I think I'm good.
Okay. So in order to move this along, I will make a conditional approval with the second floor left window being changed to a door.
Again, that'll be a half glass door, similar to the entry door.
Right, okay. With a light, I think you said, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay, so I will make that conditional approval motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I,
Good. 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, 30 South Ferris Street. ARB 2024-04, 30 South Ferris Street deck.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. My name is Rob Jones. I'm the architect and owner at 30 South Ferris Street. And I'm excited to show you guys our deck renovation project today. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so you should be seeing a Google Earth view of Irvington. I'll go ahead and I'll just give us a sense of a location here. I'll zoom in. I imagine you're familiar with where this is, just down the street from where you guys are now. And 30 South Ferris Street is right here. And you'll see that running along on the east side is South Ferris of the front facade is on the east side. And then the deck renovation will be occurring on the west side of the facade. So not facing the street, but inward into the backyard. So here is the existing front facade, again facing South Ferris, but this particular permit has no work involved on this facade. Here's the existing rear facade. And this is the deck in question that we are proposing to renovate. There's just quite a bit of rot, as you can see here, a lot of mold, rot that needs to be, that we'd like to replace with something new to freshen this up. Next up, you'll see our drawing set here of the exterior elevation. So drawings 1, 2, and 3 are the existing conditions. And then drawings 4, 5, and 6 are our proposed design. And this is, so 1 and 4 obviously are the same view here on the left, but just with what is existing on the top and then what's proposed on the bottom. You'll see what's proposed is a simple A-frame enclosed deck on the south side. If we're looking at drawing 5 here, which I can zoom in on. On the south side, again, is a simple A-frame enclosed deck. And then on the north side is an open, kind of a more traditional patio style deck on this north side. And then you'll see on the drawings 4 and 6, we can look at the drawing 4, the north elevation. We'll have a 3-panel sliding glass door to give access into the enclosed deck. And then drawing 6, the south side will show you the new French style casement windows. Drawing 5 in the middle, you'll also see another pair of French style casement windows as well. And then I think architecturally relevant in all of these drawings that you'll see is our wood burning stove, or our wood burning stove, the flue projecting out of the top of the roof, and then in line with the existing roof. On the left here in drawing 4. And I will also jump now to our material palette. So this is our proposed kind of mood board for the project. And these are the materials that we currently have specified. So what I'm going to do is start from the left side of this page and work my way right. The left side is also kind of yes, I could say the lower materials, and then I'll work my way up to the roof. So you'll see here on the left side, we have a darker gray Trex decking, and that is what will provide for the decking on the exposed area of the deck. We're going to provide black aluminum handrails, fully code compliant and structurally sound for the exposed area of the deck, and then also running down the stairs as well. We have staying consistent with our black hardware. We're proposing matte black fixtures. One fixture, this triangular fixture, will be going above the existing exit and entry door out onto the deck, and then a small garden light as well, which will be on the front side of the pitched enclosed area of the deck, and that will shine light downward. Both of these fixtures are fully dark sky compliant. Above the light fixtures, you'll see a lighter gray vertical wood siding, and that is a vertical composite siding with the wood texture, and this is going to be in a lighter gray color. So that will give a little bit of contrast between that and then the darker gray Trex decking, which I pointed out on the left. For the roof, we're going to use actually the same asphalt, dark kind of gray slate asphalt roof that's on the house currently. And to kind of soften the edges of the architecture a little bit, I've specified half round gutters in white to blend in with the existing facade. In the top right, you'll see the matte black chimney that we have proposed for our wood burning stove and flue. And then last but not least, our the window units that we'll be inserting are going to be Marvin brand white, and that is to match the current white vinyl windows that the house currently has, to stay consistent with the architecture there. And also for for any exposed wood or for any exposed material that we want to provide, that we want to blend into the architecture a little bit, we're going to use the Benjamin Moore Simply White for the exterior paint where needed. And that's our project. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't have any specific questions. Anybody?
No.
Looks good.
Okay,
Thank you.
I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. Have a great night.
All right. I have a little housekeeping or, weren't you just voted it for, yeah, okay,
5-year term.
yeah. Yeah, well, it's not like you're, can't.
Handcuffed?
Yeah, exactly. Anybody, questions, concerns, issues?
No.
Okay, I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.